Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, adapted for English learners by Story Steps. Chapter 7, The Queen's Croquet Ground. Alice walked through the beautiful garden, looking at the bright flowers and tall green trees. Fountains sparkled in the sunlight. It was even more lovely than she had imagined. But soon she saw something very strange. 3 gardeners were painting white roses red. They worked quickly, covering every flower with red paint. Alice stopped beside them. "Why are you painting the roses?" she asked. The gardeners jumped in surprise. One dropped his brush. Another hid his face behind a leaf. The smallest one whispered, "The Queen. The Queen planted a white rose tree by mistake. She hates white roses. If she sees them, she will be very angry, so we must paint them red." "That seems silly," Alice said. "Be quiet," said the tallest gardener. "She is coming." From the end of the path came a long line of people. First came soldiers who looked like playing cards. They were flat and had numbers on their backs. They marched in straight lines. Then came more card people dressed in bright colours. And then came the King and Queen of Hearts. The Queen walked in front. Her face was sharp and serious, and her eyes looked angry. She looked at everything as if she wanted to shout at it. When she reached Alice and the gardeners, she stopped. "Who is this?" she asked, pointing at Alice. "My name is Alice, Your Majesty," Alice said politely. She tried to look calm. "And what are they doing?" the Queen said, pointing at the gardeners and the painted roses. The gardeners fell to their knees. "We were just," one began, but the Queen shouted, "Off with their heads!" Alice stepped forward quickly. "Oh, please do not," she said. "They have not done anything really wrong." The Queen stared at her for a long moment. Alice stood very straight and did not look away. At last the Queen said, "Very well, but you must play croquet with me." "I would be happy to," Alice said. She did not know what kind of croquet the Queen played, but she hoped it was normal. "Come," shouted the Queen, "to the croquet ground." Alice walked beside the King. He gave her a small smile. "Do not worry," he whispered. "She shouts a lot, but she does not mean half of it." "I hope so," Alice whispered back. At the croquet ground, Alice saw the strangest game she had ever seen. The balls were live hedgehogs and the mallets were flamingos. The archers were soldiers who bent their bodies to make shapes for the balls to go through. Everything was moving at once. "This looks completely impossible," Alice said to herself. "It is supposed to be fun," cried the Queen. "Take your mallet." A flamingo was put into Alice's hands. She held it carefully, but it was not easy to hold. The bird was tall and kept moving. "Please," she whispered to it, "do not fight me." But the flamingo lifted its head and looked at her in a strange way. When she tried to hit a hedgehog, the flamingo bent its neck to watch the hedgehog instead. The hedgehog rolled into a ball and ran away across the grass. "This is harder than I thought," Alice said. The Queen was not having a better time. She shouted at everyone. "Off with his head! Off with her head!" she cried again and again. She shouted at players, soldiers, and even at the flamingos. Alice tried again to hit the ball. This time the flamingo kept its neck straight, so she was able to hit the hedgehog. It rolled through one arch, but then it ran off in another direction. "Well done," said a voice that she knew. Alice looked up. The Cheshire Cat's head was floating in the air above her. It was smiling, of course. "Oh, it is you," she said. "I am glad to see someone who is not angry." "Most people here are angry," said the cat, "but I just smile." Before Alice could say more, the Queen saw the cat. "Who is that?" she cried. "I do not like the look of him. Off with his head." "But he has no body," Alice said, "just a head." "That does not matter," shouted the Queen. "Call someone to cut off his head." The King hurried over. "My dear," he said quietly, "you cannot cut off a head if there is no neck. It is against the rules." The Queen and the King started to argue loudly. While they talked, the cat slowly disappeared. First its ears, then its eyes, then its whiskers, then everything except its smile. The smile hung in the air for a moment. Finally, even the smile was gone. "Well," Alice said quietly, "that is one problem solved." The Queen turned back to Alice. "Have you finished your turn?" she asked. "Yes, Your Majesty," Alice said, though she were not sure. "Good. Then come with me," said the Queen. "You must meet the Mock Turtle. He tells wonderful stories." "The Mock Turtle?" Alice asked. "What is that?" "You will see," the Queen said. She waved her hand, and a strange creature came forward. It had the head of an eagle and the body of a lion, with large wings on its back. "This is the Griffin. He will take you to the Mock Turtle. I must finish the game." The Queen hurried away, still shouting at everyone. The Griffin looked at Alice kindly. "Come with me," it said in a deep but friendly voice. "The Mock Turtle is a little sad, but he tells good stories. You will like him." Alice followed the Griffin away from the noisy croquet game. She was glad to leave the shouting Queen behind. They walked through the garden and toward a quiet, rocky place near the edge of Wonderland.